So we have talked about the body image distortion, and I've given you different categories. Why these categories are important? That through these categories you can identify what kind of a thought process is running through your mind. And then you can think of ways, or you can go to experts, or you can read about it, that what could be the solution for these kind of thought processes. Basically, we have to move towards ultimately corrective thinking. It is difficult to learn in the midst of a distressing episode. When you're actually caught up in a challenge related to this body image dysmorphia, and then you're trying to resolve it, it will be very difficult. Like when your emotions are disturbed, your thought process is also affecting you badly, and then you're thinking, what could be the best possible solution? So what we do is, we develop corrective thinking ahead of time. And this goes true for whatever challenge you have in your life. Like let's say, sometimes people say, I have anger issue, or I have a panic issue, or I have anxiety issue. So I tell them that once you landed in that situation and then you're trying to resolve it, you won't be able to do it. So the best thing is that what you do is, when you're very relaxed, you sit down and you think, what are your triggers? What are the things that affect you? What is your thought process? What are your emotions? And depending upon a particular challenge, as I've given you many steps to that, then you try to understand those steps. And then you ask yourself, if I land in a situation and this happens and that happened, then what am I supposed to do? Because our brain is very smart. Whatever message we deliver to our brain, the brain accepts it. Our brain cannot differentiate between reality and imagination. So whatever message you're giving to your brain, it could be an imaginary message, the brain is going to accept it as reality. Like whenever you put a software in your computer, in your phone, so it is automatically going to run it. It's not going to tell you this is haza halal or haza haram. You won't get that banner. You will have to be smart enough to differentiate between halal and haram. It will simply start playing it or running it for you. So when we train our brain ahead of time, and then our brain then develops that pattern, identifies that pattern, and whenever the situation arises, brain will automatically give you the right corrective message. Oh, this is your distortion. Oh, this is where you need to move towards acceptance. Oh, this is a wrong message that you're delivering to yourself. And with little practice, you will be ready to apply what you have learned to alter your body talk in daily life. You have to practice it day by day. For example, when I realized that I have self-defeating thoughts, and many times a day I tell myself how stupid I am. For many months, I told myself the only target I have is I will never call myself stupid. Even if I did the most stupid thing, I tell myself I'm only human, and humans do make mistakes. But I won't call myself stupid. So I will move a step ahead. That means I have learned to stop myself from a self-defeating thought. Similarly, if I tell myself, okay, whenever I have distress, I will not move towards experiential avoidance. I will not avoid any experience because of a challenge that I have related to my body image. And I will take baby steps for that. I won't immediately go into an extremely glamorous function and then feel very safe about my body image when I'm going through a big challenge. What I'll do is very small steps. I'll maybe avoid some big events, maybe avoid some glamorous events, but I will go in those situations where there is slight discomfort for me, maybe 10%, 20% discomfort for me. And I'll gradually develop and work on my skills in that particular environment. Once I start feeling more confident about myself, then I will move to a more stronger platform where there is more challenge coming towards me. So it's not like you attend one session on body image dysmorphia and then you say, okay, I'm ready. And I can go and I can beat everyone. You won't be able to do that. What you learn, you apply one thing or the other every day. Like experts say, when you get up in the morning, Have a journal with you where you write down 5 things that you are thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for. Gratitude journal. If you are going through a body image challenge, you can have a body image journal where you write affirmations on what you like about yourself, or you make those promises that we just talked about, that I will not loathe myself, I will not hate my body, I will not think what others have not actually said about me, I will not assume things. If you write 3-4 messages related to the body image, you will feel the difference in your personality within few weeks. So that's how this whole thing works. I'll finish off with this beautiful hadith narration of the Prophet. Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu reported, Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Inna Allah la yanzuru ila suwarikum wa amwalikum, walakin yanzuru ila qulubikum wa amalikum. Verily, Allah does not look at your appearance or your wealth, but rather He looks at your hearts and your actions. So this is what we need to focus on. This is the actual message to be delivered to ourselves every day. I am a beautiful soul. I am a brand with a very individual, customized personality and even the body. Through this, I have to come closer to pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nor my physical appearance matters, nor does the money or the wealth or the glamour matters. And you would notice that even from the worldly perspective, all the people, you would notice many weird scientists or weird people, even in social media or even they are in the movie industry or whatsoever, wherever you go towards. They're least pushed about what they're wearing, how they're moving around, about their looks, but people like them, people admire them. So having confidence in your own self is more important.
Okay. First of all, is it possible to for a person to be in several phases of body dysmorphia at the same time or within a specific time frame? And the second question is, when does a person seek help with a professional? At what level should a person seek help?
Okay, they are very important question. The first question is that can a person be at a different level of body dysmorphia in different time zones? Yes, we can be. There can be times when you're perfectly okay and then there is something which becomes a trigger for you or something that comes up as a challenge for you, or you are surrounded by or you are within that environment where everyone is talking about the body image and the importance of body image and you have not actually worked on your skills in any way. So you will be sucked in by that pressure. And that is why we find out that in our deen, there is a lot of emphasis on company of Salihin, company of those people who are not on that agenda. Because, I mean, like if I keep sitting with people who are always talking about who's looking pretty and who's looking dashing and who's looking like the best, obviously it will start affecting me. We are all human beings, no? A message which is repeated in front of us, it sinks in. There is an organ in our brain which registers the message which is delivered repeatedly. The social media these days is like that. That is why it could happen and we could be in different phases, and that is why we need to be working on ourselves every day. Okay, your second question was, when would I know that I actually need to consult some expert? I usually recommend people that the first thing that we should do is start reading about what is bothering us, what is our challenge. If every day you get into this habit of reading at least one article or getting hold of a book and reading 1 page or 2 pages and start practicing whatever you learn over there. Because what I have seen is usually people like to attend such sessions or read books or read material and they want instant results. Instant results are not possible. It's going to be lifelong struggle. You will have to work all your life. I love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this reason, that He has not given us instant results. Because instant results are never good. And when you're working constantly on yourself, what happens? You grow every day. There are days when there is failure, so you don't feel like a perfect being. And then there are days when there is success, so that you love yourself. You become more confident about trying something new. So this life has highs and lows so that we learn. One thing is, if you are a constant learner, there are chances that you will come to similar sessions, or you'll read books, or you'll go to online sources, and you will start developing yourself. But if you feel that either it is very difficult for you to study and digest and internalize and write down the steps, the milestones for achieving something, or you feel you are deep into a challenge and it is like very, very difficult for you to, or very painful for you to do it on your own, then please do not wait. Please do not hesitate, immediately take help. Go to someone, tell them I have identified myself with this body image problem and I want to settle myself. I always feel that parents should be more receptive now, because one big hurdle for youngsters now is parents. They're like, why can't you do it on your own? Why are you so weak? Why do you need to consult someone? They see themselves as a failure if they have to consult for their kid related to any challenge which is about mental health. Maybe I have failed as a parent. No, you have done a good job, but you are not specialized in everything. Let's say if your kid has a fever, starts throwing up, has dehydration, what would you do? Or is bleeding, or has fractured a limb. Would you say that I'll keep my kid at home and I'll manage on my own and tell your kid to be brave? No. When you take your kid to the hospital, to the doctor, you'll tell yourself, I'm such a good parent. You'll take pride into this thing that I took my kid immediately for consultation when I saw something. So even with mental health challenges and body image challenges, you should take pride that I saw this challenge in my child and immediately I took help. And alhamdulillah, I'm happy with that. I do that same. The moment I see a challenge in my kid, I immediately take my kid for consultation to any of my colleagues. And I'm very vocal about it. And when someone says to me, you are the one who is teaching everyone, I said, yeah, that's why I can recognize immediately. And the earlier I take help, the better results I get.
Children's way, like kids way, it is कैसे develop करी जाए? Like if I look at myself, when I got married, and my complexion was like when my in-laws family, everyone was so fair, and I was like a little dusky. So I felt so many challenges, like not with the bad intention, but they were commenting on my, like, you don't wear this dress, it doesn't suit you, and something like that. But because I was not like I was so confident that I'm very smart and I am like I'm intelligent enough, so I don't need all these things. And I never work around this to look fairer or something. But for my girls, like she's 8 years old now, so if these challenges comes with her, so how should I train her to deal with it?
Yeah, that's again a very important question. What you have talked about is that you got married in a family who had a fair complexion, you had a dusky complexion, but you were very confident about your own personality, and it was not a matter for you, despite the fact that they kept telling you, don't wear this and wear that, this looks good on you, this doesn't. But now you're concerned for your 8-year-old daughter, who is again getting the influences. And especially I would like to tell you that the times, like if we go 10 or 15 years from now, we go back in the past, times were different. People were not that well connected on the social media, and there were not too many influences related to the body image challenges as they are now. And they are constant pouring off these challenges towards us. Your daughter at the age of 8 years is going to be more badly influenced than you were at a much older age group. What you need to do is work on the self-esteem of your kid. Read about it. Google how to build self-esteem of an 8-year-old kid. And don't bring in the external influences. Don't say, if Dadi says so, if Chacha says so, if Nano says so, if so-and-so relative talks about it, don't take any influence. No? You are pretty, you are good. Tell her what the actual personality is. Tell her what really matters is your whole persona. And also tell your kids that, when we develop ourselves, we are the most beautiful in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then when we develop ourselves and we are helpful towards people, we are intelligent and we are productive towards the society, then people also start admiring us. Then I'm also reminded of the hadith, the narration of the Prophet ﷺ, in which when Allah loves someone, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that to Jibreel alayhi salam. And then Jibreel alayhi salam announces that to the rest of the angels. And ultimately the announcement is made for the people on the whole planet, that Allah loves so and so. And then everyone falls in love with so and so. We need to teach our kids at a younger age, when they are not actually going through that body image dysmorphia, that do engage in those activities which bring in love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So once they become confident about their own personality, they are skillful, they have good self-esteem, then these things probably won't matter. But at the same time, if you feel at any stage your kid is having a dip like that or taking pressure, bring them that awareness that if you ever feel any pressure like that, you can always come and talk to me. And we will take some consultation, or I would help you in growing and accepting yourself as you are. Let's say your daughter says, I have a darker complexion and there are girls in my class who make fun of me. No, first of all, you have to validate her. You say, I'm sure that would hurt you. Usually we miss out validation part. Validation is, you say, I'm sure if someone would make fun of my complexion or my body, it will be hurtful for me. But then you ask her that if someone says something to you, would it matter? Or if you say this to yourself, that would matter. Because we are going to talk more about the inner voice. Obviously, the daughter would say that if I say something like that to myself. So again, you bring her towards that point that when you're talking to yourself, always give yourself a good message about your body, about your personality. And one thing that I feel mothers are worried is they are like, if I teach my kids to like the concept of self-love, maybe they will become arrogant. They'll start thinking of themselves as somebody. And our deen gives us a message of humility. So where to draw the line in that? You always tell your kids that appreciate yourself and love yourself for something which is factual. Like when you're dressing up nicely, appreciate yourself. When you, let's say, do your homework or you're excelling in your studies, appreciate yourself. When you clean your room, appreciate yourself. When you ate the right kind of food, appreciate yourself. When you said salam to someone, appreciate yourself. And again, if she says, but I don't like my skin color, and you can then take her towards acceptance, self-acceptance. You're like, yes, there are many things that we might not like about ourselves, but if we keep looking at them, would it change? Do you think if you accept it, that will be more helpful, or if you keep killing or stabbing yourself, that would help you? Obviously, the girl would say, your daughter would say, yes, I shouldn't be thinking about it, but the thought keeps coming. So then you tell her how to address those thoughts. We've just talked about all of those things. So this is how you have those conversations. Be very open about these conversations. And you say, yes, do you know this is a big area of concern now? This is called body image dysmorphia, a body image challenge. And you know there are people who have grown out of it and they've created success. So how about you work on yourself that way?
I feel that the bond between the child is very important in that.
Yes.
So when I see myself, like my childhood and all, I remember that whenever I used to have any such feeling, so I was like, my mom, she always kept me so much into reading and writing and studying and those type of things, and developing my skills, like always keeping us busy, all my siblings. So I remember that once at one stage of my life, मुझे ये बता था कि मेरा forehead बहुत बड़ा है. So I used to like, like my hairline is back and my forehead is big. So I remember my mom, she told me, "Arey, ये तो intelligence की sign है, and that's why you are." So she always used to say something which used to make me happy and proud of my that body feature. And then I remember that once she was looking at me and she said, "Ki Allah has made all your things so proportionate. So the proportionate things are beauty, is a sign of beauty or something like
exactly.
that." And I remember that those words always gave me confidence, even in places where...
Yeah, you're so right. If you make a comparison of 3 generations, like my mom's generation, they probably did not have much challenge with a body image. Because again, the media was not there, there were less comparisons, people were more receptive towards the whole holistic approach of personality. Then came my generation. So my generation, we were confident about ourselves, but then we had started making comparisons. Because we got a good package and we did not know how to like deliver it to our kids. And then came the next generation, this generation Z, which is already loaded with information. So we have this big gap, and I exactly remember the same thing. I also have a big forehead, and my grandmother used to say, "Kismat walon ka bada matha hota hai," and they would always associate something with that, no? This is like a sign of like good luck. So we used to feel so happy and proud.